They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this.
And like, you can make fun of literally everything Hold the Truth Hostage does. There's no end to the laughs that we can get out of Hold the Truth Hostage. But do I think he's the devil? Yes. You know what I mean? I definitely don't think he's not the devil.
Hold the truth hostage. So what? So he's going to hell. How long will it before Hold the Truth says hands up, don't shoot? Just saying.
I do honestly think.
Man. Is this you?
Yeah, this is the real me.
Okay, good, man. How you doing?
Hey, good. Yeah, no, I was to see the Black Pill guys as that guy Hold the Truth. I call him, and please don't get offended by this. This is my favorite line from Hold the House Negro, because he's a house Negro on that panel. And I don't care if anyone gets offended, that's what he is. I grew up a white guy growing up in New Zealand, just as it is. You know, the very first thing people will say when they see me jump into this, like onto this stream or whatever, they'll be like, oh, you know, he's alt-right or some sort of underlying racial acrimony, which couldn't be further from the case. And I'm a very liberal guy, very accepting.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies, we would hold the truth hostage. Again, I want to thank everybody for helping me reach 900 subs. Once we hit that 1,000, man, we're gonna be doing something. Now, I haven't done one of these videos in a while. You know, you get caught up live streaming. You know, you live stream so much, you get caught up in that process and forget to just make some, some videos where you're not live streaming and you just get to the point. Well, this video is something I just started thinking about, you know. And the title of this video is called End of Trying. You know, let me repeat that. Or, you know, End of Trying. You could call it EOT. I don't know how that sounds. Is that a OT? I don't know what that sounds like. But EOT, End of Trying. Now, you know, I've done a video called, no-term relationship. You know, I've spoken about that, the no-term relationship, the, her-term relationship, spoken about the state of relationships in the West, United States, Canada, I think Germany. I'm not sure any country that's very similar when it comes to the United States, when it comes to their marital laws. And the legal side of things, and the anti-straight male narrative that's being pushed. So what is end of trying? Now, while I was at work, this came to me, I was thinking about it, but what happened is, I think a lot of men are in a situation where, and this might get a little deep, but I think a lot of men are in a situation where it's an end of them trying. It's an end. The trying, it's end of trying, where men are even trying to get into relationships anymore, And I think when it comes to the men, with the narrative that's being pushed, one thing they try to say is that, one narrative they push is that you got to go through it. You got to go through it and live it before you talk about it. But the thing is, so many men have been exposed, not even men, so many, boys in the journey towards manhood have been exposed. The internet is so accessible, and a lot of people think, oh yeah, the internet's accessible. People are only using it to play video games and, watch funny, humorous videos. No, the internet is so accessible, it's made lessons accessible, lessons on life. Now, you got to look at the boy growing up today. So let's put your mind into the high school boy. So the high school boy growing up today literally has access to videos that constantly saying, men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. So that boy who's in high school is looking at it and saying, wow, man, I'm not even a man yet, so they're saying I'm gonna be shit when I grow up, right? You know what I'm saying? So that high school boy is looking at it, they're cursing out men, saying men ain't shit. And you know, I mean, us who are adults, you know, guys that are about, let's say, 21 and above, you know, when you hear men ain't shit, you think of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You think of yourself and you think of them talking about you because you're an adult. You're a man. So now the people in high school, let's say the boys in high school and the boys in middle school, they look at it from a perspective of, I'm gonna grow up to be shit. Is that what they're saying? Because you know these boys ain't men yet, so they're thinking in their head. So they're saying I'm gonna grow up to be shit. That's the narrative they're pushing. You know what I mean? So a lot of these boys is looking at that message and saying, "Oh, you're saying I'm gonna grow up to be shit," when they say men ain't shit. Now, with all the access to the internet, the boys are constantly looking at the videos that constantly attack straight males, you know what I'm saying, demonizing what comes natural to them, you know what I'm saying, what comes natural to them as they grow up. So a lot of these boys growing up look at the message that, oh man, he looked at a girl because he was attracted to her, toxic masculinity. Oh man, he asked this girl out, toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the messages the boys are getting, you know what I'm saying? They're seeing all these messages. Then they're seeing all these campaigns that are promoting destruction and mutilation of their body. You know what I'm saying? There's a big message around, there's a big message promoting, like you see the Protect Trans Kids, which is just insane. So, you know, the boys growing up seeing all these messages, protect trans kids. Like, what kid growing up just, you know, a kid who's like 4 years old or whatever wakes up and says they want to mutilate their bodies? I mean, we're at a point where, man, the straight boy, man, the straight man and his son are just in danger, man. It's red alert, man. You have corporations, and you got to understand these corporations. Remember, you need to understand that corporations are a person. That's what they've been defined as. Corporations are a person. And most of these corporations now are promoting child mutilation, and they're promoting coming after your kids. So if we take it that these corporations are a person, doesn't that mean that most of these corporations promoting body mutilation on young boys and children? You know what I'm saying? Most of these corporations promoting drag and promoting sexual body dysmorphia. Doesn't that make these corporations mostly corporate pedophile corporations? That's one thing you won't hear, man. You won't hear people call out these corporations like Disney saying they're coming after your kids. You know what I'm saying? Disney saying they're coming after your children. All these big corporations that are promoting this narrative that they're, you know, targeting your children, as you saw with Target. Think about this. Target was literally selling clothing that promoted body mutilation. You know what I'm saying? Body mutilation and body dysmorphia. What kind of place that sells products for children would openly sell, and they were selling a dress? I saw that music video about Target. Target was selling a dress where the designer openly designed something that's a dress so this little boy could put his privates in. You know what I'm saying? This is a corporation, man. You know what's crazy is they would go after a man. They'd go after a man who's a pedo in 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, they'd go after a man who's, you know, promoting pedophilia, but they won't go after corporations. They won't go after corporations that are literally promoting pedophilia and literally targeting children. You know what I'm saying? Targeting children. You know what I'm saying? These big corporations, and remember, since these corporations are identified as a person, what does that make that corporation? That makes that corporation a pedophile of a person. You know what I'm saying? That's what no one's speaking about. That if these corporations are seen as a person, that makes that corporation coming after children a pedophile. You know, they don't talk about that, but let's get back. You know, so a lot of the boys growing up are looking at it as an end of trying. They're looking at all the narrative, you know what I'm saying? They're looking at corporations targeting them to promote body dysmorphia. You know what I'm saying? When I see that for trans kids, like, how is a kid a tranny? Like, how it's, you know, a lot of people don't see what's going on, man. You know, they want to legalize pedophilia through corporations. That's what they're doing. They're legalizing it through corporations because they know that a person that was not incorporated, such as a corporation, can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get the corporations to do it. But you know that I'll go deeper into that video when I get the chance. But basically, a lot of the boys growing up and even the men, they're basically at the point where they're at an end of trying. So a lot of the boys are seeing a promotion that anything they do can be perceived as toxic masculinity because they are men. They're boys. They're male. Them being a male is a problem. So a lot of the boys are looking at this situation growing up, and a lot of the young men are looking at this and saying, yeah, man, yo, you know, it's an end. It's an end for trying. So a lot of them are basically stopping it. And what this does, you gotta understand that the male consumer has a longer shelf life when it comes to their sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Their sexuality, the men have a longer shelf life. So what they're doing, a lot of these corporations that are entail with the government, what they've done, they've created a scenario where the boys, in all honesty, a lot of boys are just, when it comes to relationships now and such, you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about it. A lot of them are more like, it's kind of like they're waiting to be picked. You know what I'm saying? They're waiting to be picked. That's what it is. A lot of the boys now with the state of relationships and the state of potential trauma that could happen to them based on a relationship going wrong when it comes to a post on social media, a lot of the boys are kind of in a situation where they're stopping the trial. They're stopping. It's an end of trying. So a lot of them are looking at the relationships, even the boys, because the boys got all the videos of seeing the trials the men are going through. You got to understand that, you know, boys of today are literally growing up online. And unlike us millennials, Gen Xers, where we would have to go look at a library, we'd have to stay up late to watch some type of TV show, you know, RIP Jerry Springer, you know what I'm saying, to see issues between men and women, you know what I'm saying, real world and all that. Today's men and boys, today's boys they just go online. They go on TikTok, they go on YouTube. They could literally see compilations of what's happening to men in divorce, losing their property, you know, men being shamed, men being set up with false accusations. They got all this information running at them. Then you have the corporations promoting. You got Gillette. You got what happened with the Bud Light situation, where Bud Light is promoting that, you know, these boys, for them to be accepted, they got to mutilate their bodies, and that it's perfectly fine for while a man is intoxicated, that a man pretending to be a woman should prey on him. So a lot of the boys, man, growing up, and a lot of the men now that have basically put an end to trying, a lot of them are giving up on even trying to obtain a relationship at all, because they see the long-term ramifications of this. So they see it. So a lot of them, and then you gotta understand that when a boy and a man are not seeking out a relationship, you know what I'm saying, a lot of their money will go towards consumption, towards, be it gaming, sports. You gotta understand that when a man starts a family, when a man gets a family, his resources actually limit. His resources are limited to where he can spend it on consumer goods. You know what I'm saying? The man has to consider where the money's gonna go for his kids, their schooling, their medical expenses, and all that. So if you remove that aspect and just have these boys growing up only find safety and only find acceptance in participating in consumer goods such as video games, sports, shoe collections, and so on. That's the safest place they can go to spend their money. You know what I'm saying? And then you see this happening in a lot of boys and a lot of men as well looking at it. And I'm talking about the young men, let's say about 18 to 25. So you got the young men of probably in sixth grade to the men that are about 21, 18 to 25. So boys to men, they're basically ending their, they're putting themselves on an end of trying. So they're ending trying to obtain a relationship and so on. And what this does is it creates a market. It creates a major market where the men have been told that, when dealing with the women of the real world, here's what's going to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Here's what could happen to you. And here's the fact that the government will deem you guilty. You know what I'm saying? Deem you guilty. And they, you weren't proven guilty yet. Not proven guilty yet. That whole narrative of guilty until innocent, that's a lie. It's guilty until we prove you're guilty. That's what a lot of the men are facing, because you'll see men that get false accusations on them and they still lose their jobs. They still lose access. They still got to go to civil court. It's so much BS. You know what I'm saying? Because the way the system's designed, it's that a man is guilty until proven guilty. That's it. There ain't no innocence, man. There ain't no such thing as that. You know what I mean? Because if a man was innocent, jobs and all these scenarios, he wouldn't lose all of them. He'd be able to reobtain them when he comes back. But you don't see that. So what's happened is this creates a market. And this affects the women too. This has a side effect on the women, But let me just focus on the boys to men for now. What happens is now the boys growing up, and when they become men, let's say become about 18, when they become men about 18 to 25, and even before then, what happens is a lot of the boys are learning that, it's only safe to associate with the women when you're playing video games online or through online communication that is also limited. You know what I'm saying? Limited and unable for you to ever meet. So you got a lot of boys, if, not that many women playing online anyway, but the boys will deal with those female twitchers, the twitchers, those female twitchers, you know what I'm saying? So they'll deal with them. So a lot of boys are being trained to only deal with women from a digital digital line. Like the line is digital and they'll never meet in person. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of Twitch accounts, they're getting a lot of views. And you got to remember that these views are utilized to promote to advertisers that they can advertise to a larger group of people. So a lot of the boys growing up are being pushed towards that it's only safe to interact with women from a digital spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Such as videos, video chats, or watching them on Twitch and so on, them streaming. Now, when the boys become men, what this eventually evolves. What happens when this evolves is that now the men are basically dealing with cam girls and so on. So they're dealing with cam girls, and these men have been trained to basically deal with women from a distance, a digital distance. Yeah, that's a better word. Digital distance. You know what I'm saying? D&D, DD, digital distance. So a lot of men are learning to deal with the women digital at a digital distance. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of the men are learning to deal with the women from a digital distance. The men are learning to deal with the women from a digital distance. So you see a lot of men spending a lot more money, and the time they're spending, they would be spending with a real woman, they're spending it with either a cam girl or a woman streaming, you know what I mean? With a woman streaming on video and so on. Because what's happened is, to ensure that consumerism is absolute, they have to demonize the interaction between men and women. And it's all been set up legally. You know, Hollywood's come after the men, all that. So a lot of the men are dealing with women from a digital distance. And what happens is, especially after Conan 19, during the quarantines where men were unable to go anywhere, you know, notice that OnlyFans really blew up. It really got super successful when men were unable to really travel. With the men unable to travel, it was normalized that you spend a lot of your time online. So a lot of men started putting money on cam girls and donating their money and their time, you know. So a lot of the men are spending their time with women from a digital distance, and in the real world, the men have basically, you know, given up. You know, they've put an end to it. They've accepted the scenario of what things are, and they look at the risk, because you got to understand, one big thing they advertise online, they advertise all over the manosphere, especially in the manospheres, they'll always advertise that, well, the men become far more financially successful at the age of 30 and 40 and so on. So a lot of the men and a lot of the young men and a lot of the boys absorbing this information are saying, yeah, man, you know, my career is on the line. My career is on the line, so I'm going to avoid anything that will mess with my career. You know what I'm saying? Mess with my career. So a lot of young men and young boys are focused on, let me get my, for the boys, they're focused on just graduating, finishing their school and getting that done. You know what I'm saying? Then for the men, they're all about, you know, obtaining their experience at their work and their field, maybe obtaining their degrees or whatever the scenario is to obtain something educational that will aid them in making more money. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the men are stepping away because with the internet being what it is, man, all it takes is you could go viral at any time. And the thing is about going viral is it doesn't even have to be organic. You know, it could be inorganic, because there's a lot of times a video hit 1 million views that we all know is artificial. You know what I'm saying? They just souped up the view counts. It made it look like, oh, he hit 1 million views, so it must be correct what's going on. So a lot of the men are basically at the end of trying. They're at the end of trying and they're stepping away. And another thing that's happening that a lot of people haven't looked at and understand is the rise of games, similar games such as Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Souls-like games. How come all these games where you're slaying demons, killing them, how come they've become bigger and more hype than ever before? You know what I'm saying? How come games where you're slaying ugly monsters and demons and the world is just dark, you know what I'm saying? Dark. I wonder what that reflects. That reflects your modern world as a man. A lot of men are looking at the world and they're looking at the world through a darker lens. You know what I'm saying? A darker, more post-apocalyptic lens. Like if you're all over the manosphere or you're online, you'll hear a lot of men saying, oh, it's the end for the West is over, the country's gonna collapse and this and that. And a lot of the young men and men in general, you know what I'm saying, they can't slay their demons in real life. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You got a advertisement from corporations, telling you to celebrate Drag Day, telling you, you even got videos of trannies telling straight men that if you don't date a tranny, you're not straight and you're being, what's that word? Forget that word, non-inclusive, and discriminating and phobic, whatever it is. So a lot of the straight men are being positioned by and looking at it that they're being attacked by demons. They're looking at they're being attacked by demons, monsters, creatures, whatever. Because what's being thrown at the straight male right now is that you being a straight man is you discriminating. You being a straight man is you discriminating. And they're throwing every monstrous image at you as a straight man. So they got grown trannies coming after you. They got drag queens coming at you. They're tossing all these images that a straight man would see as a negative and a danger to his sexuality and his identity as a straight male. So a lot of the straight men are turning this need to defend themselves and their identity on a gaming spectrum. So a lot of the straight men are playing more your Demon Souls, Dark Souls, your Legend of Zeldas, where I think the new Legend of Zelda Tear of the Kingdom, where he's still beating on these monsters, whatever. So a lot of the men are realizing that, yeah, man, you can't slay the demons and the monsters and the issues in the real world. So a lot of these men are taking their frustration, their anger towards the gaming side, and the men are spending more of their time on, games such as Dark Souls and Demon Souls and so on, where you get to just slay monsters. You get to slay absolute evil. And then you gotta look at these type of games. You start off, for example, I think in Dark Souls, you start off as somebody who's already dead or some type of corpse or somebody, and the whole world is just filled with darkness and a void, and it's empty. You know what I'm saying? It's just a post-apocalyptic world. Because even the other games men used to play, Call of Duty, it's been closet infiltrated. It's been infiltrated by the closet. It's been infiltrated by the agenda and the narrative. Sports games have been infiltrated. A lot of games, even Street Fighter, the current Street Fighter is crazy. If you see the host of the battling game, it's always funny that they gotta hyper, you know what I'm saying? They gotta make the black guy extremely effeminized and extremely gay. You You know what I'm saying? They gotta make the black dude extremely feminized and gay. If you look at the latest Street Fighter who's hosting a tournament, a game about fighting and beating people up, that's gonna be the tough, that's gonna be who's gonna be hosting a fighting tournament. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the men seeing this agenda being tossed at them, they're basically, it's an end of trying. And it's not just the end of trying when it comes to women, it's the end of trying to navigate the real world or trying to participate in any of that crap. And a lot of men are separating themselves and stepping away from anything. They're stepping away from any sign of it. Like, you see what's going on with Target. You see what's going on with Budweiser. Because a lot of the men have learned, man, take your money out, man. Take your money out, bro. Fuck your feelings and all that crap, man. Take your money out. These corporations live and breathe off the dollar. You know what I'm saying? It's got nothing to do with your feelings and signing these protest papers and all that. So a lot of men have basically stepped away, man. You know, it's an end of trying. It's an end of trying for a lot of men. And a lot of these men are taking their aggression, taking their escape. And you know what's crazy about it when you think about it? When you're playing something like a Dark Souls, a Demon Souls, a Shakiro, whatever, these games where you're slaying all these demons. Think about it that a man's escape now, your escape isn't something bright, humorous, and shiny, you know what I'm saying, a bright world. Your escape now is a situation, a game that's just dark and gloomy, where you just get to slay demons, and it's endless. You know what I'm saying? It's endless. If you played, I think I saw some reviews of Bloodborne. You in a world, yes, you'll win, but it never ends, because a lot of men are escaping to games that reflect their thoughts on this world currently, this country, the West currently. Their thoughts that this is an endless loop. This is an endless cycle of just destruction. You know what I'm saying? Destruction. You know what I mean? And that them being a straight male makes them the enemy. You know, the enemy of the state, enemy of the corporations and all that. You know what I'm saying? They're literally giving ESG scores. Think about it. They're giving ESG scores to companies that promote self-destruction and body mutilation as diversity. Not companies that promote a positive image of families, strong fatherly role models and mothers, a strong family. No, we're giving extra points, and we'll give more ESG points, all that crap. We'll give that if you promote destruction. So a lot of the men are looking at it and saying, yeah, man, that's all we have to look for in this world right now, or my country, is you just see destruction until I get out. So since I'm gonna get up to see destruction, I'm just gonna play a game where I'm in a destructive world. But the difference is, in the game, I get to fight back. I get to stand up for myself. You know what I'm saying? But I plan to do the female perspective on this one. You know, I'll do it as a part 2. You know what I'm saying? End of trying, part 2. I'll do that. I'll focus on the women's side. But this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. And remember, man, EOT, man, end of trying. End of trying. A lot of men have just declared it's the end of trying. Yeah. End of trying, man. Black man.
There it is, man. There it is, right off the fucking top, the fucking black card. How long will it before Hold the Truth says hands up, don't shoot? Just saying.
Oh, God.
I do honestly
Oh,
think
man.
Pill ill, y'all niggas better listen. I'm black 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 pill, I'm ill with this will. 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 I'm black pill, I'm ill with this will.
It's so important, guys. So important. By the way, women are the majority of voters in the United States.
Female content creators help the manosphere be balanced and prevent the formation of cults. She has agreed to an alliance with me and other balanced content creators who call out the bullshit and hypocrisies. I look forward to see the cat.
How long will it before Hold the Truth says hands up, don't shoot? Just saying.
Oh, God.
I do honestly
Oh,
think
man.